The views and opinions expressed here on Wrestling Wind Down are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Wind Down, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. We are back with another episode in our series entitled The Life of a Wrestling Fan, where we chat with individuals with amazing careers and businesses who also happen to be professional wrestling fans. On this episode, I am joined by Angelica, who is the owner of OLJ Creations. OLJ Creations is Angela's small business where she creates jewelry including bamboos, earrings, and other types of beautiful pieces. Along with being a successful business owner, Angelica is also a professional wrestling fan. She is spilling the wine on her love of professional wrestling and some of her earlier wrestling memories, and even though she's had breaks in between watching wrestling, what has eventually brought her back. Angelica is also taking us behind the scenes of being an entrepreneur, including what made her start her own small business, what intrigued her about being an entrepreneur before becoming one herself. Angelica is also sharing different resources and tools that have helped her start her own small business, as well as giving advice to those that may want to take a leap into being an entrepreneur. So grab your favorite glass of bubbly. We're going in for the 3 count. We are back with another episode of Wrestling Wind Down, and this episode is a part of our series, The Life of a Wrestling Fan. This series talks about individuals within the wrestling community who have outside jobs or businesses that are interesting. There's so many different people in our community, and you never know what people are doing outside the internet. My guest today is Angelica. She is the owner of OLJ Creations. She makes such cute jewelry, and honestly, you compare her stuff very well with our stuff. I'm just saying. I might have done it before. I've seen other people do it. Welcome to Wrestling Wind Down, Angelica. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Let's dive right in. When did you become a professional wrestling fan?
Technically, I've had like 2 introductions to wrestling. The first was when I was a child because I have family members who watched it, but I didn't really understand it. Like to me, they were just super villains and heroes who did cool stuff in a ring, but I didn't know anything about the stories. But like I played the WCW versus NWO game with my siblings, but other than that, I wasn't into it. But I paid attention to certain people. Like Rey Mysterio was my favorite back then. But other than that, I had a long break before I even touched wrestling again. And that was in 2019. And I was actually introduced to it by my boyfriend. It was April, right? I didn't know anything about WrestleMania. And he had an assignment. So he came over to my house and he was like, I have to watch wrestling while I do this. And I'm like, is that serious? And he was like, 100%. Like, it's that serious, right? So I'm like, okay, he has one device for his assignment and one for the show. And so I'm like, let me see what's so special to make him want to, do this right now and not wait. And I now know that that was Kofi Mania. And so I watched Kofi win. And it was a really good moment. I could tell like this was a big deal. But of course, I didn't know the backstory. That was like the first seed, but it didn't fully, thrust me into it. So then fast forward, I don't remember what show it was. I see Kofi lose the title. And I'm like, okay, I don't like how this feels. So I was like, okay, I get the psychology that comes with the stories, right? That still wasn't enough. So fast forward 2021, SummerSlam. I see Bianca Belair come out. And I'm like, this is a beautiful Black woman. She's got glitter everywhere, this long, beautiful braid. She's got on bamboos, and I'm a bamboo girl. And I was just captivated by her, like completely. And so Becky's music hit. And I'm like, okay, she's a big deal. Let me pay attention. Bell rings, the manhandle slam happens. And my boyfriend starts reacting. I'm like, surely that's not it. But it was all so quick. By the time I got to process why he might be having this reaction, count happens and the bell rings. And I'm like, that's it? Like, there's no way that just happened. So I was like, there is no way this Black woman just lost to a woman named Becky Lynch, a white woman named Becky Lynch, that fast. I was like, you know what? From here on out, I have to see whatever she does because there's no way they don't make it up to her. And
Mhm.
now knowing Becky said, I'll do right by you, and Bianca was really sad about that, it was a really good moment for me to start with because that feud was amazing to me. And ever since then, I've been a fan.
What keeps you watching every week? Is it the athletes? Is it the in-ring work? Is it the stories? Is it the characters? What makes you want to watch it and keep up with it?
So honestly, I'm on a break right now, and this is my
Mhm.
first break as a fan. But when I do watch, it's mainly for the storytelling
Mhm.
because I mean that's what got me started to begin with. I like following the journey. When I do watch, it's mainly for that, but there are some people I want to see them in the ring. Like Mercedes. I don't watch AEW all the time, but when I do, I'm looking for her.
Mhm.
And in WWE right now, it's all about Naomi for me. Like I'll tune in to go see what Naomi's doing and Jade, but for the most part, I'm not always there.
Mhm. I know you're on a break, but
hmm
is there a storyline or feud that currently has your full attention? Would it be the Naomi one? Is it Mercedes holding every belt imaginable at this point, or maybe something else that you might want to tune into or keep up with on your own?
Honestly, mainly Naomi because I would like to
Mhm.
see who she cashes in on, if it's going to be successful, and how that's going to go from there. I'm hoping Jade is involved because I think we need that feud to be a little more fleshed out at this point because it was hot, right? And then I feel like it kind of mellowed out
For
after their
sure,
match.
yeah.
So I definitely am hoping, they interact some way, whether it's Tiffany dropping her belt to Jade and Naomi cashes in on her, or Naomi cashes in on Tiffany and Jade ends up challenging her. That's mainly what I want to see right now. But aside from that, I do check in on Seth Rollins here and there because he was the first guy that I actually like fell in love with.
Mhm.
But mostly I'm here for the girls. So
Period.
I'm
Period.
here for the
Nothing
girls.
that. Let's talk about your passion. OLJ Creations. How did you start your business?
It was supposed to be a temporary thing because I was working a customer service job in 2018 and I didn't know what I was going through at the time was anxiety, and it was
Mhm.
getting pretty bad. Like I was having anxiety attacks regularly, and I had one at work that was really bad.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I need a break. I need to figure out how to cope with whatever this is. And so I quit. And I was like, in the meantime, I'm going to work on my art because that's usually what brings me out of my funk. So I started doing that. And the plan was only to be off for maybe 90 days at the most, because,
Mhm.
bills and stuff. But I decided, okay, I should make money off of my passion while I'm taking this time off. And so I was actually living with family and I ended up watching my niece, kind of like a full-time auntie. That's what I call it. And it was convenient to have a job where I can make my own hours.
Mhm.
And so I feel like I'm helping family out by watching my niece so that they don't have to pay for daycare. And I'm also doing what I love. And it's also not as daunting as hopping on that phone and getting yelled at by customers day in and day out. It was very convenient and I just never left it. So,
You mentioned that your passion is art. You've always
mhm,
went back to that. What
mhm.
art do you typically dabble in? We know you do the jewelry, the bracelets, the earrings, etc., but is there any other art forms that you are interested in or that you currently do?
My first love has always been fashion. And so my dream was to be a fashion designer. So I majored in fashion at the Savannah College of Art and Design. So I can sew, I can sketch, I paint, I draw. Sometimes I'll go in the kitchen and bake something different that I've never done, like anything that starts as some type of material that I can make into something, I'm all for it. But drawing and painting are probably like my comfort zone outside of jewelry.
Other than the flexibility of hours, what intrigued you about entrepreneurship?
I'd say the opportunity to be passionate about what I do for a living because I did not have that at all at the customer service job and it was weighing on me. So that
Mhm.
was honestly the most intriguing part of entrepreneurship is that I can wake up and do something that I love every single day.
Being in it for a couple years now, what are some of the challenges that you've experienced?
Oh, honestly, I suck at promotion. Wording, I'm not a wordsmith by any means. So trying to make engaging posts is probably the most difficult thing for me. And it
Mhm.
sounds simple, but like I can make the jewelry, no problem. But when I have to sit down and think of, okay, how can I make these people want to buy this? I freeze up. Like, and naming
Yeah.
is extremely difficult. I don't know why, but other than that, I've kind of found my flow with everything.
It's an art. It honestly is. If
Mhm.
you can always sharpen up on it, but it takes time and it takes a lot of getting to understand your audience and
Mhm.
understanding, okay, what's going to capture their attention because people have short attention spans nowadays and it's hard for them to pay attention for a long time. They might see something that intrigues them, but they aren't willing to take the extra step to see, okay, well, how much is
Mhm.
it? Or what is the material made out of? How long is
Mhm.
shipping? Like people are just not paying attention and they need
They're
to be
not.
paying attention.
Yeah, I tell my boyfriend all the time, people don't read as much as you think. Like they
Yeah.
don't read. Social media kind of shows you that as like if you have like a professional dashboard, they show you, hey, people don't look at stuff past like 7 seconds or something like on
Mhm.
Instagram and like certain times of day. Like there's so much that you have to think about.
Let's talk about the intersection between wrestling fandom and your creative work. Have you been
Mhm.
able to mix the two at any point?
Yes, I have. So I did a set called The Glow Sisters, and it was inspired by Boston Glow. And funny enough, I did it right before the walkout. But that was one of my best sellers still to this day. Like it was a neon green pair and like that royal iconic Sasha Banks blue, they glow in the dark, and I kept selling out. And I was like, oh, okay. And somehow that expanded to the IWC. So now at this point, I have wrestling fans are now looking at my work. And when you think of wrestling, you don't think of like super girly, frou frou la la, bright colors and stuff, which is practically my brand.
Yeah.
You don't think of that. So I never thought it would happen, but I think again, social media, like the power of that branding yourself and your hobbies brings everything together. I'm thankful for it. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for wrestling. And I think that's so beautiful. Like when I realized you ordered for me, I was like, "Oh, like I really I stopped dead in my tracks when I put two and two together. I'm like, so I have reached outside of my little bubble. This is cool because and even looking at your stuff, we're for the girls. And there's not enough
Absolutely.
stuff. There's not enough for us. I also made a Trinity pair during her Trend Pact era. Super bright rainbow neons and all that. And I need to do a full wrestling inspired collection.
You do.
I just I don't know. I need to start getting the ideas together because I keep drawing blanks. Like I'm thinking about doing like pink for the Heart Foundation, of
Mhm.
course. And then after that, I start drawing blanks.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but I don't know. It'll happen one day
You know
for
what? We're
sure.
going to manifest that happens one
Yeah.
day. I think, too, you kind of taking a break, like it's hard to really pick up on, okay, what's currently happening? Like, what are the women watching? Right.
Mhm.
So I think maybe once you stop taking your break and you decide to dabble a little bit more into wrestling, I think that spark will come back. But I've seen all of your stuff. I've seen your wrestling ones. I've seen people retweeting it. People love it because we don't have anything like that. You know, you can
No.
go to a Shein, you could go to a Fashion Nova, but there's nothing
Mhm.
like having someone, the person who's making the stuff, you follow them, you engage with them. Like it just,
Mhm.
it's so different than getting it from, just manufacturer or retailer that you see all over the
Mhm.
place. What are some of your favorite pieces that you've created? Would it be the wrestling inspired ones, or are you kind of like, oh, I like a little something else that I've created?
Honestly, my favorite piece was a custom that I did for someone for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a jumbo pair of marble print.
Mm-hmm.
And they're my favorite to this day because that was the first time I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone as far as like making a print from scratch. Because usually I can do an ombre in my sleep, I can do like embedded stuff, but that was something where it's totally organic. And I usually have like a cookie cutter approach to most things, but you have to be free flowing with that. And it was very tedious, but she loved it in the end. I'm like, oh, I can really like do something that people have never seen before with these bamboos. So those were definitely my favorite to this day.
What would you say your most challenging piece has been to create?
These, honestly, because the marble process is so time consuming. So for one pair of earrings, I have to make 4 pieces for the front and back. Just one side of marbles takes at least an hour
Oh my
just to get,
gosh.
because I have to go in layers and I have to cure it. And each layer needs at least 2 minutes. So it racks up. And I also have to go in sections. Get all 4 pieces done. And then I have to make the plates. And the plates are a completely different mold. So then I have to make 10 little flowers, line them up, make them all, make sure they're straight and perfectly straight because it will show if not. Then I have to add the resin, cure those, stick them to the bamboo, make sure they're facing this way so that the words aren't, touching the cheek. And then I have to take the charm and put it on top. So these honestly took me like a week, but they were a birthday gift to myself. So it was worth it. Grueling process for sure.
As an entrepreneur, what are some of your favorite resources or tools that help you, A, when you started, but B, even now?
So when I started, I was still technically enrolled in school.
Mm-hmm.
And a nice thing that SCAD did for us was give us free Adobe. And if anybody has used Adobe, you know that it can be pricey, especially now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I first started, I was still using my free Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, all of that I got from school until it expired. And I still use it to this day for my graphic work, for the emails, for the flyers, the stuff that goes on the website. I use that way more than I ever thought I would, honestly. But as far as today, well, in the beginning, I used that a lot more because I started with shirts and like merch. But today, I'd say the process that I learned in fashion school. There's a very set process that we were taught with, sourcing materials, sketching things, editing, making your mood boards, your color boards, all of that. Like I see that as a resource because that's knowledge that I will take with me for the rest of my life. And if I don't follow that process, I can't function. Like things I've tried to do it without that and just sit down and make things. It never works out, and it makes me more efficient so that I'm not wasting items. So definitely the knowledge that I gained while in art school, but also Google. Google and YouTube University. Like if I don't know how to do something, I will find someone who does and I will learn from them.
Take me through your creative process when you're starting to create a collection. Where do you typically draw inspiration from? You mentioned that you incorporate the mood boards and stuff that you learned in school. What does that whole process look like when you're starting to create a collection from start to finish?
So it starts with color. I have to visualize what the colors will invoke, like the emotions I want. So it'll start from there, and then I'll go on Pinterest and look up keywords. And so I find images that portray what I want. And then I'll take those pictures, put them in a board, and then I'll start drafting sketches of the pieces that I want. And my mom always fusses at me for being too analytical or methodical because she wants me to be more free flowing. But I have to say, hey, I want 4 of this color and in 3 different styles. So I'll go in and I'll use my Adobe Express or Illustrator and I'll map it all out on my iPad. And then I print that out, tape it on my wall so that I can see it while I'm working. And then I refer to that while I mix the pigments for the colors. And then from there, I make swatches, which is all back to that SCAD learning. You have to have a swatch, have to. So then I make everything. That is a beast in itself as far as time. But once I'm done making everything, I have to edit. So does this fit the vibe? No, exit. After that, I think about names. I try to think about names before I take pictures. Rarely works. So after I make everything, I take the pictures and then I sit there and I'll practically spend a whole day taking pictures and naming things because I want everything to be cohesive. It has to follow a flow. Sometimes it might be food, it might be drinks, a location. The names all have to fit that theme. That was a mouthful, but that's the process.
You've been in entrepreneurism for a minute now, and I feel like when you're in it, you really can give proper advice. What is some advice that you would give to other creatives or wrestling fans who want to start working for themselves, whether it's jewelry, whether it's just in the art field, just in general? What advice would you give them if they're looking to enter that, or maybe if they've been in it a couple years and they really haven't found their flow yet?
I would give them the same advice that my dad gave me. Just do it. You have to start. That starting is the scariest part, but in the time that you spend convincing yourself that you can't do it, you could have started by now. So just start. Don't get caught up in comparing yourself to other people. Don't get caught up in feeling like you have to have everything figured out. You have to have top-notch supplies. You have to just start with what you have and build from there. And I've learned that when people see you start, in the trenches, they appreciate the come up. So definitely just get out of your head, start, and just go with it. If you love it, you'll want to keep doing it. You'll keep competing with yourself to make it better each time.
Are there any skills that you feel like you have picked up while being an entrepreneur that you feel like are important for other entrepreneurs to possess, whether it's time management, whether it's organization?
Definitely organization. I am not that organized, especially with creative things. Now with my process, yes, but like your space needs to be organized because you will lose time digging through everything. So I have definitely become way more organized. Other than that, I'd say I'm getting better at networking. That's very important. I'm getting better at it. I'm not as good as I would like to be, but networking is definitely something that you have to pick up on as an entrepreneur because you have to expand your reach all the time, constantly. Like goal is to reach as many people as possible.
Thank you, Angelica, for joining me here on Wrestling Wind Down. Where can the people keep up with you and check out OLJ Creations?
So you can follow me on Twitter at OLJ the Creator and on Instagram at Ophelia Love Jones. You can also check out my work at oljcreations.com.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Wind Down. You can find all of our other episodes available wherever you listen to your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. We are on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. We also have our official merch store, which you can find at shop.wrestlingwinddownlv.com. Let us know what you thought about this episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!